Dude, Spider-Man No Way Home was so good, and I think I cried for like a quarter of it. Really? Okay. Okay. Let's just start from the very beginning, okay? Because I really like, we were just talking about this with Order of the Phoenix. And I love that J. Jonah Jameson's bit. I mean, it's so well done. And I talk about this in my Succession recaps, how much I appreciate it when things pick up like right where they left off. And they make it very clear to us that this is taking place like, boom, right after this, and this many months after this, and I was gone during the blip during this. Like, they reiterate that to the audience several times to let you know where we're at in the timeline. I'm just so excited. The beginning of it looked a lot of it looked practical and was really cool. I mean, this whole thing looked great. I highly suggest seeing this in a theater. And I didn't know if it was appropriate for me to bring a pen and paper in, but then somebody was just, they were just acting a damn fool through like up the quarter of the movie, and I'm like the end, and I'm just like, why was I concerned? Look at my hand. It's covered in fucking notes that were taken in the dark. Because I didn't want to fuck up people's movie-going experience, but here we are. I'm going off of like my memory, and I was just really excited through a lot of this. Fucking Stewie shows up, and I asked my friend how to say this, because I'm like, I know people from this area, like literally, and so I should at least, and they speak the language, so I was like, I should at least ask how to say his name. Well, that's what I told her. I was like, I just want to attempt to say it right. Fucking Stewie shows up, fucking Ariane Moayed, and I love him, and he's great, and he was great in this, and he was only in it for like a minute and a half, and guess what? Guess who showed up? Fucking Daredevil. Guess who fucking didn't? Fucking Mephisto, and I'm gonna roll the fucking clip right here. Why I have been preaching that there will be no Mephisto for a minute, and if there is, it will be an end credit scene for 10 seconds like Thanos, I'll do it myself type deal. I've been saying this since motherfuckers. I love how all these giant channels have been preaching Mephisto, shoving it down everybody's throats. Mephisto, Mephisto, Mephisto. I'm going to try and find all of my videos of me saying there ain't no damn Mephisto coming and supercut them all together, because I've been saying this for, what, a year now? That having that someone holding a sign that says devil in disguise is a full-blown red herring that they want us to be looking at. I totally get that. Honestly, do you want to know what I think is more likely to happen? I think that's a shout out to Daredevil. Because we're going to need a lawyer in this bitch. Which I am super excited about, because Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina, who are Doc Ock and Green Goblin, are absolutely amazing as those characters. Willem Dafoe pulling that whole Gollum shit and talking to himself is genuinely creepy. And Alfred Molina needs no hyping up. If you are not hyped for Doc Ock, leave. This devil stuff in this trailer is really a red herring, and Daredevil is going to be the one we see. I really do. I think it's going to be Daredevil. That's gonna be the devil in disguise. What's Wanda doing while this is going on over here? I've been saying that this is not Mephisto. This is a different Doctor. Like, this is not our Doctor Strange. This is a different Doctor Strange. But then after the What If episode, I'm like, okay, so this is a thing. The shot where they're like red, and I was like, okay, so did his tech change because he's in this universe with this Tony Stark or whatever, or is Tom Holland Spider-Man using his suit somehow, like nanotechnology, to wrap around the arms? I don't know, but either way, he's gonna get into a cell, and that's really fun. I liked that Silence of the Lambs thing, so it's like we have the bad guy who's gonna help us get the other bad guys. Dude, Willem Dafoe is the fucking shit. Willem Dafoe is the shit, and when they did the voiceover of like, you're chasing ghosts, this, that, and the other thing, or Peter, you're lost, and all this shit, okay, remember that fucking Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin was like the original Gollum? Not the original Gollum, because I know Lord of the Rings came out before that, but I mean, in movies, he was doing that whole Gollum thing where he was like, I truly feel remorseful in this character, but then when I'm switching over to Green Goblin, I'm somebody totally different. So I'm like, is he going to step in more like and trick the Tom Holland Spider-Man we have right now? That Willem Dafoe is going to play a bigger role? I don't know, but like I said, I don't know on which side. This is just going to be awesome. But I don't, like, is fate a big thing in that too? Because fate is a big theme in the Tobey Maguire ones. MJ fall, and I'm like, I know, I'm assuming, I don't know if another Spider-Man is going to swing in and save her, but that's kind of what I thought at first. But then I was like, she does eat it in the comics, right? She does die. That's the thing in one of the comic runs of Spider-Man. I think they might let her die. She might not die, because it's Zendaya. I think the devil in disguise is Daredevil. I think Daredevil's going to be the other big thing to show up. If it wasn't Zendaya, I do think that they would off this MJ, because they do need to get darker and they do need to do something. And Spider-Man is a dark story. Tom Holland one is so happy, and it's like, and Spider-Man's always like this, like, yeah, let's go, I'm younger and all that. That's part of who he is. But this one is super happy. So it's like, I do think we need to knock him down a peg a little bit. And I don't want to do that, but I'm like, to build a better character, you'd have to. But the only reason I don't think she's going to die is because of who the actress is. And if it wasn't her, I do think that they might go there. I've been saying that even since before the What If episode came out, that there was two Doctor Stranges, because I was like, this Doctor Strange doesn't look like our Doctor Strange. I still don't think it's Mephisto. If it is Mephisto, I'll eat crow, but I still don't think Mephisto's in this. I definitely think they're going to try and do a Dark Knight thing where... But now I'm like, okay. Where there's like, oh, I don't want to kill these guys, and it's like, oh no, that's their fate. It's to die by Spider-Man's hand. Your character has to have things happen to them for them to develop. You know what I mean? I just dropped something. But things need to happen to them for them to grow as a character. This Spider-Man is very happy-go-lucky, very over-the-top, very young. Let's go, let's get him. And Spider-Man is inherently like that, but Tom Holland is especially like that. With you, like you might not have directly killed her, but you might have indirectly killed her because you're Spider-Man. Like I said, I think this character's gonna have to grow somehow, and it starts out with him talking about, oh, because when you found out, and it's all about you, and when Mary Jane found out that I was Spider-Man, it was the biggest week of my life, and it was the only happiness I had, and then it's like, oh, if we take that away, this character's gonna have to learn how to deal with that and grow. You do see shots of Tom Holland, like, broken and bleeding, and he's sad, and he's in the rain, and it's like, okay, well, what happened for him to get that way? Well, during Captain America, I have super soldier serum, but it's that Manchurian Candidate, Black Widow, spy, thriller, noir, Winter Soldier, esque shit that is, like, my personal favorite, like, little corner of the MCU. I like it a lot, but Hawkeye is also kind of a part of that, because it's, like, realistic, you know what I mean? And that is also a perfect place for Daredevil to come in. There's a way to tie him in here a little bit, and I really do think that he's going to be the devil in disguise in Spider-Man No Way Home. Not that I want her to die. I'm just saying, like, characters have shit happen, and that's how heroes grow. You still think that there's 2 Doctor Stranges. I was like, there's something up with these, but I just don't think it's Mephisto. I really don't, and especially after this trailer. I like that. And everybody was fucking doubting me. When I saw that cane, and oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. The run through of them trying to get to Aunt May and Happy, and them not finding out. It was funny where it needed to be, and then it was serious where it needed to be, and it was very well done. It was very well choreographed, and it was very cool. Fucking Matt Murdock show up, and it was fucking when he caught that brick, dude. When he caught that brick, I yelled in the theater. I didn't even care. I love it. I'm running on straight Spider-Man adrenaline right now. Even if he was too old for the role, if you think that. Tobey Maguire, I'm sorry, I was 9 or 8 when those started coming out. They were a big deal. Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man, and I cried like a baby when he showed up. He played a geek and a nerd way better than Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield do. And that's not saying that they're bad at being Spider-Man. I'm just saying he's the geekiest out of them all. I think they make a point to make him that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that way. That was one thing I really liked about this. I really liked showing them talking about the web shooters, showing them talking about or doing science shit together, and like coming up with that was cool to me. Seeing them all fuck around in a lab, I really liked that. This is what I mean about time. When time passes like naturally in something, and they make a point to make it that way, like in Succession and like with the MCU now, just to I think stick it to us. Everybody who analyzes the shit out of it, so we can be like, no, there was a day off, and yada yada. No, like, I don't fucking know, a week. Like, I remember Mom and I were shocked during WandaVision. We were like, oh yeah, she just watched her her fucking husband get his head ripped apart by Thanos, and then it gets rewound in time, and it happens again, and then you're recreating him like within the same month. Like, there's some serious fucking grieving problems going on here. They make a point to let us know where we're at in the timeline, and I appreciate that. I do. But I like that it is, like, we're going to college. But the one thing that I think is odd about this is, like, didn't Tony Stark, like, essentially rule MIT? Like, aren't they going to take Peter Parker no matter what? Like, I guess if they found out you're Spider-Man, I guess it would be, like, a terrorist attack, wouldn't it? I don't know. Like, you're an Avenger. You know what I mean? I feel like they would be able to get out of a situation better than, like, fucking... like Jeffree Star or fucking Jake Paul, who I will box any day of the week, and I will come to Cleveland, you piece of shit. I'm dead serious, man. I will fucking box them all day. They're going, like, that was the one thing I thought was strange. I was like, I literally looked at my mom and I was like, didn't Tony Stark, like, run that shit? And aren't they gonna go, oh, that's your buddy, and you have pictures with him and stuff? Like, of course we're letting you and your friends in. I don't know, I just thought it was odd for them. But I also get wanting to go there because he idolizes Tony. It makes sense, but I'm just like, what? And then don't you go to, like, special school, like, for super smart kids? Like, aren't you guys all gonna get looked at for, like, these big major colleges? I fucking dropped out. I work in a factory. I don't fucking know. Very real world thing that somebody his age would go through, and we've already watched him go through so much crazy shit that I think it's just, I like that little part. That's just, like, a very basic thing. We all just want to get accepted to the same school, and I know it's more complicated than that, but... really liked when Dr. Strange was like, why didn't you just talk to the administrator, you idiot? Like, what are you doing? Like, you didn't need magic for this. But when you're a dumb teenager, you're like, no, extremes. You know what I mean? But I mean, this is a little different. Well, the thing that kicked it off. I like that we found out that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme now because he was blipped for 5 years. And I was like, oh, interesting. And I do think Doctor Strange is a little salty about that. And he goes to talk to the administration lady, and Doc Ock shows up. It is so cool. I mean, Alfred Molina was so great, but Willem Dafoe fucking stole this entire movie. He did. He was so goddamn good. When the Green Goblin showed up, that was amazing. I was clapping and yelling, and I was so excited when the Green Goblin showed up. I really was, though. I really was. So then, like I said, with the Dark Knight thing, that's what the Green Goblin's trying to push you to do. He's like, oh, break the one rule you don't want to break, and I will change you as a person fundamentally. But he starts collecting them like Pokemon, sticking them in cages, and I thought the humor hit where it needed to, and there were some times where I thought it was not funny, but people were laughing, and then I was laughing at things that other people weren't laughing at. So I'm just like, I think I'm in a stupid... You know when you know you're in a stupid theater? You know when you know you're like, oh, all of these people around me are dumb fucks. That's kind of how I felt tonight at Spider-Man, except for the guy down the row from us. He cared. You could tell that his girlfriend was really pissed that they had to wait through the credits. Oh yeah, and then we have the MacGuffin of the movie, which is the spell is trapped in a box, and if we hit the button, they all go back. And that means they go back to their fate, which means they're dead, and instead, Peter wants to cure them and make them better. And the Green Goblin is pulling some fucking shiesty shit, and I looked over at my mom, and I was like, dude, he's bullshitting. And my mom was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, and I talk about that, I'm like, no, like, Willem Dafoe does that Gollum thing of back and forth of, I'm a totally different character at one point, and then I'm like this at another. I'm like, no. And then what quote does he say from, he says a couple quotes from the original one, but there's one that he says, I'm something of a scientist myself, and it's like, oh, oh my God. Like, dude, he's gonna fuck your life up. He's gonna fuck your life up. And I know I kept saying that MJ was going to die, but I fucking thought I put it on TikTok, but I didn't. I said it on Snapchat. I was like, it's gonna be her or Aunt May. But I didn't know if they would commit to Aunt May. I didn't know if they would do that after Tony dying. And like I said, I think I have no evidence of this, and I have no proof of this. I just really think that they were like, we gotta start cutting people. I mean, I don't know. And she's a huge name for young people, and young people are where the money is. But it also made sense with Andrew Garfield shit. That made sense. I was like, oh my God, wait, not only are we coming full circle in this franchise, we are coming full circle in all 3 franchises. This is fucking hard to do. And I don't know if they were doing this, but they were, oh, dude, anytime they had Danny Elfman's score kicked in, I cried. Fucking boxer, they got to push the button, and he's like, no, we're going to cure you guys. And then when they said the wizard's basement, I genuinely was laughing. I was genuinely laughing. I thought it was funny. Oh, the lizard, he's super creepy. That was super creepy. He was super, like, not creepy enough to be scary, but, like, disturbing enough that it's like, I don't like looking at you or seeing you talk. Jamie Foxx was, like, overselling himself, but I'm like, no, it's the character. He's over the top, and I get it, and he was leaning into it, and I thought he was fine. He was funny. He was good. He's Jamie Foxx. Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe were where it was at. Like, that was where it was at. And Willem Dafoe fucking knew the assignment. That's all I'm fucking saying. Doctor Strange, Spider-Man fight for the box. That was badass. Like, and then trapping him in the mirror dimension. I brought up the mirror dimension, but not about Doctor Strange. I was just like, I assumed it would get used just because it's like, it's essentially like saying we have this giant closet you can throw shit in and nothing can get out for however amount of time we need it to stay in there. It's very convenient. Let's just put it that way. A room of requirement, if you will. That, I mean, they both have rules. Never mind. I like that they never established why. Is it just because Spider-Man has special powers and his spidey senses he could get back to his body, or is that a shout out to the comics? I don't know what that is, but that was really cool. And watching Spider-Man get knocked out of his body was cooler than anybody else. But I've talked about this because it's quick little Spider-Man, and to watch him get knocked back, it's like, oh shit. And Mom loves Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was Mom's favorite part of this entire thing. I think my mom secretly loves Benedict Cumberbatch, but doesn't know what his name is. That's what I was concerned about. I was like, okay, Doc Ock might be straight right now, but that was the first thing I thought of when he saw the arc reactor. I was like, dude, that's like his thing. Like, that's what he dies for, is trying to make this, he becomes corrupt, but his idea is sustainable energy for everybody. Like, that's how it starts. And then by the end of the movie, him and Tobey Maguire are like, no, we're agreeing that you got to go down with this fucking ship, dude, because you started this shit. Now you're taking it to the bottom of the ocean and dying with it. And that's exactly what happened. So when he saw the arc reactor, I got a little worried about Doc Ock. When the Green Goblin, when fucking Willem Dafoe made his full turn and said that quote about gods, and he was like, oh my God, it was that was chilling. And I will say this, their fights are straight up savage, like straight savage, like they're fucking rough. He did the web up, pull, and like slammed him to the ground, and then, oh my god, when he was slamming him through the floors, oh my god, it was so fucking savage. It was so savage, and I was like, oh my god, dude, like you could feel that shit. It felt like Daredevil. It felt like an episode of Daredevil. Daredevil breaks like 80 bones an episode. Have you guys ever noticed that? You know Matt Murdock was watching. You know Matt Murdock was watching. All of the fights were like that, but the one out of the condo between Tom Holland and Willem Dafoe is absolutely savage. It's fucking, it's, like I said, you can feel it. You're like, oh shit, dude. Like, that's how you feel watching it. And then, when Aunt May got hit with the hang glider, if you know the Tobey Maguires, you know, like, that's a death. That's a death. And I was like, and I kind of thought we were through it until we got to, with great power comes great responsibility. And I was like, oh, fuck, you're his Uncle Ben. Damn it. I was like, you're his Uncle Ben in this universe, and you're gonna die. I cried. That was super sad. That was really sad, and it was really long. It was really long. Hearing Happy tell him to run, like that was the saddest part. Like that was super sad. Like it was a super sad scene. Oh, and then oh my god, the cops opened fire on him. I was kind of shocked by that. When Ned said something about magic earlier, and then he can just do the little portals. I liked that. I thought that was cute. He's gonna forget. That's the whole kicker. Like he's gonna forget. And I talked about this with Fate and the other ones, because I was like, no, Fate is a huge thing with the Tobey Maguire ones, and I don't know the Andrew Garfield, The Amazing Spider-Man movies well enough to say that's a huge theme in it, but I was assuming that was going to be a thing, was Fate, and we can change it. Same thing as, like, using blood magic. If you know fantasy, you know, like, only death can pay for life, you know what I mean? Like, you don't just get to have things willy-nilly. They've done a lot to this Spider-Man, but I really think it's because of how Tom Holland portrays him. I think it's because he's so upbeat, and I've talked about this. Go watch my other videos. Ned locking Doctor Strange away somewhere. I thought that was fun, but I'm like, honestly, I think Doctor Strange held back because he was probably like, what the fuck, man? Like, he probably, like, I know he doesn't have his fucking whatever, but it's like, come on, really? Can't figure something out sooner? You can't get on a flight, buddy? You fucking fly around. Like, what is going on here? Did they ever say where you went? I don't know. Maybe it was, I don't know. Whatever. Either way, come on now. Doctor Strange, get it together. I knew they were going to have Andrew Garfield show up first, and I liked it, and I thought it was a very cute back and forth, and it was very nice. I liked that. When fucking Toby walked through that fucking portal, though, and I wish it wouldn't have been a portal, because we've already seen people come through portals, like, but that, I was fine with it, because when Tobey Maguire showed up, I burst into fucking tears. I'm not gonna lie, I burst into tears, because I felt like it was 2002 again, and I felt like I was 9 years old in the theater with my mom, and it was great. And his fucking theme kicked on, and it was amazing. Loved their back and forth of, like, oh, your webs, when they, well, first they're like, oh, where do you go, and they did their little debate of the Empire State Building or the Chrysler Building. I loved that. Everything about their back and forth was great. They were great all together. Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland. They were all great together. And when they go and get crying Tom Holland, that was heartbreaking and sad. And when they're all talking about death, it was heartbreaking and sad. But it was so well done. Make their plan to go fight at the Statue of Liberty and how they're going to cure them. And like I said, them tinkering in this lab together was one of my favorite scenes in the whole thing. Tobey Maguire just played that like, I know lots of stuff and I'm a goober. I like that they never extensively went into Cap's shield going on the Statue of Liberty. It was just like discussed in the background. I thought that was really cool. Like the media says there's like, oh, people are going back and forth about it. There's people being interviewed about it. People in the background are saying how they'd like it or dislike it and all this shit. And I'm like, oh, I like that the final fight takes place on Cap's busted shield that's fallen. Like that is, this was very well done. But those scenes of the Spider-Man, like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire talking after or before everything happens, and Tom Holland talking to Ned and MJ, and like that was all like tense but great. I'm shocked at the amount of meta jokes Tobey Maguire allowed them to take at him for playing Spider-Man, because him saying he has back problems, that really happened. Like, he really said, like, I'm gonna walk off fucking set, like, fuck you guys, I'm not doing this shit. And they were like, we have Jake Gyllenhaal right fucking here, we will fucking replace you. Like, they weren't playing, like, it got, like, serious. So for them to, like, make jokes about his back hurting and stuff, that was, like, a real thing that happened on set. And he was like, and it almost, like, halted the franchise. And then they were like, well, we'll just fucking replace you with Jake Gyllenhaal. And there was a couple things where I was like, guys make it, and I'm like, oh, well, at least he's a good sport about it. They brought up fighting an alien in space. You could see how like lit up Tobey Maguire gets, and like they're all so stoked at what the other has seen and done with technology or space or whatever it is. I really like that. But we'll get into what I think Tobey Maguire was thinking and what Mom said, because they were two different things, and you guys can tell me what you think. They built tension very well, but they also were funny and light at the same time. That's a hard line to walk. So they Electro and Sandman show up, and they used them in a really cool way. Like you can definitely tell they were like, oh, how do we use these elements together? And it was very well done, kind of doing their own thing. And then they all realized like, oh no, we've all been fighting solo. And then when Tom Holland's like, no, I was on the Avengers, and they're like, what the fuck? Like that was actually funny. That genuinely hit. And they're like, a band? Like I was genuinely laughing. That was actually funny. I liked that the newest Spider-Man was the only one, and that's true. He's like, I'm the only one who's been on a team, so listen to me, motherfuckers. Like we gotta make this work. It was a good point to make. And then the MJ fall happened, and I said this, and I thought this the whole time. I was like, Tom Holland's not going to catch her. Somebody else is. And at first I thought it was going to be one of the Spider-Men, and then I was like, maybe it's going to be Doc Ock. But then when Doc Ock attacked Electro, that was badass. But we have Andrew Garfield catching her, and he couldn't catch his MJ. So to catch, or Gwen Stacy, but to catch Tom Holland's, it all comes full circle. I liked that. I did. We have them cure Sandman. Ned and MJ almost get attacked by Lizard Man. That's how they ended up on the scaffolding. Lizard Man gets taken down, so they're taking them down one by one with their cures. And then we have Tom Holland versus the Green Goblin. By this point, Doctor Strange is back. So he's just trying to do his spell at the top of the Statue of Liberty and get this shit going. Same thing, like I said, with time. And they, like, really had it, like, first it's night, and now the sun's coming up, and now it's broad daylight. Like, time is passing, and they're making a point to show us that. Like, darkness always has the light show up eventually. You know what I mean? Doctor Strange is doing his fucking spell. We got Tom Holland beating the brakes off of Willem Dafoe. And I liked that they had Tobey Maguire step in. I really liked that a lot. But the second he got stabbed, Mom literally yelled out, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I really liked that. I really liked that a lot. And then I thought his line about, like, are people coming out of the sky or am I dying? Was actually really fucking funny. I thought he was envious of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I thought he was envious Tobey Maguire's, because he was watching Doctor Strange cast this spell that was going to make everybody forget who he was and that ever knew him, and including everybody, Doctor Strange, everyone. And I really liked the way they were talking to each other. That was so sweet. I can't be emotional and let my emotions get in the way because I'm Doctor Strange, but I'm telling you, like, I don't want you to do this, kid, but fuck. Oh my god, and we've heard that Tobey Maguire was still with MJ. Oh my god, that was fucking, oh my god, it was great. 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 I loved that. Yeah, I thought he was just like, I wish I could have had that. Like, I wish I could have had everybody forget me and not get hurt. Like, out of all of them, I think that Tobey Maguire would have been the one to be like, I want that. That's great. But my mom leans over and says, Tobey Maguire thinks Doctor Strange is a badass. And I was like, maybe she's right. Maybe she could be absolutely right. I don't know. But I did like that they had him stop Tom Holland, and Tom Holland didn't stop himself because it says you don't have to be alone in things, and we just talked about this with Harry Potter, that's why it's so crazy. And I'm like, this is wild. I feel like I'm just repeating myself. Sometimes you need someone to help you. Sometimes you don't know the right choice. And when he goes to the coffee shop, that was heartbreaking. But and like I said, the use of time is obvious. So I assumed that when they showed his cup of coffee the second time, because they focus in on it right by his sewing machine, that like time had passed and he was continually going back to that coffee shop to watch Ned and MJ. I mean, they're definitely not going to cut them out of the fucking series, let's be real. I liked that he doesn't say anything after he sees that she was hurt, because he was going to say something. He was going to say something, and then he was like, I don't want you to get hurt by me. By me, but because of me. I do like that this Spider-Man is now stripped down to who he is and not a Stark suit. Like, it's not a suit made by Tony Stark. It's him. And I feel like it looks old school. This movie was so fucking good. And I only saw it the one time, so you guys are just getting me, like, reacting to it. And I've been up for a very long time. So I'm just like, oh my god. Oh my god. And I want to know if all three scores, like music scores, were all put together somehow. Because there were times where I was like, this was put together so well. It really was. We get to the mid-credit scene, and this is where Mom shines. We're in the mid-credit scene, we see Tom Hardy, and I grab my mom, and she goes, Venom! I like Venom! Like, to the theater. Like, to the theater! I liked that, and then the guy in our row, after I yelled out, I was like, because I was like, none of these people care, and I was like, oh my god, the symbiote, and the guy down the row from me was like, oh my god, you're right, and it was like, yeah, I see you, dude. Let's talk about that really quick, because just so everybody knows, this isn't just so that Tom Hardy, because I love Tom Hardy more than I love anything in this world, and this doesn't mean that he's, we can talk about Venom another day, because Venom got fucked, essentially. Essentially, Sony is renting out Spider-Man to Disney. That's why there's no Spider-Man movies on Disney+. That's why there's no Spider-Man walking around in the park. It's because Sony owns the rights to him, and they're just renting him out to Disney. There's all types of shit that goes into that, but all I'm saying is that doesn't just mean Tom Hardy can come to the MCU, that also just means they might do a Tom Holland going over to their universe type movie also. But I do think that they'll bring Tom Hardy over. I think that was the end goal of making it PG-13. Venom is Tom Hardy can come over here and be Venom. Like, who doesn't want Tom Hardy? I did love the mid-credits scene. It made me laugh. But then they gave us, like, a full-ass trailer at the end for Doctor Strange 2. And now I've talked about this, but I didn't know what I was really saying prior. And I think me and Mom talked about it in our Loki recaps, where I was like, what if... And this just establishes it more. I'm like, I think that Wanda already knows about the multiverse. And she already snatched either she's doing some type of magic that she can duplicate herself, or she's already got another Wanda from another place. But she's a Nexus being. So it's like, I don't know if that is the same for her. Did she already go and get the other Wanda from another universe? And did she already have her out here clipping bushes and raising sheep, but really our Wanda is sitting in a pentagram doing chaos magic? I don't know, but we kind of scratched the surface on that on accident. I think recapping Loki, or maybe it was WandaVision, and multiverse shit is crazy. If you've read The Dark Tower, you know what I'm talking about. If you've read The Dark Tower, this is child's play. For real, though. And it's just like, no, that's kind of what I'm thinking is happening, or she's just that powerful, because like I said, I'm assuming a Nexus being would be different from regular folk. Like I've been saying since before that fucking What If episode came out, I was like, I think we're going to get the other Doctor Strange. I think we're going to get the bad Strange. And then that What If episode came out, and then they said that they were canon, and I was like, what's good, bitches? And then they fucking just showed him, and I was like, oh, fuck you. He asked again, where's Mephisto? Where's Mephisto? Nowhere to be found? Nowhere to be found? Okay. It was so nice to be back in a theater. It was so nice to be back watching a Marvel movie. It was so fucking nice. Like, it really was. Mom almost made us late. But it was so nice. It really was. I loved it. And I'm really excited for Multiverse of Madness 2. I don't think I've been this excited for Marvel stuff. And not because of the pandemic. Like, genuinely because of the stories. Again, I'm like... You have my attention. Excuse me. You have my attention, Marvel. But yeah, I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment. Commenting always helps. What did you think about this movie? Because we'll go into detail about it more, but I definitely have to go see it again. And I definitely have to take a notepad. Because like I said, this is not going to cut it. And I know that I'm real geeked up. And then I don't want to watch other channels' fucking videos before I make mine. Because then I'm going to be like, I'm going to have their opinion on the brain. Like, you know what I mean? It's not going to be genuine, like, how Abby thinks about it. And that's why I like having Mom on when she comes on. Because like I said, she said that Tobey Maguire was looking at Doctor Strange like, oh, what a badass. I took it as, like, I envy this. There was a big, huge issue that Tobey Maguire had in his fucking movies. Like, that was the whole thing. Like, he knew he couldn't commit to MJ because shit was fucked. Oh, my God. Yeah, no, I highly suggest going to see this. I highly suggest going to see this. It was so good. I loved it. I cried like a baby. It was awesome. It was funny. It's choreographed. It's so good. It's so good. Comment. I don't know what the fuck I'm uploading next. Because now I have a computer, and I don't know how to use it. And somebody has to come and show me, because I've been trying for days to fucking transfer things over, and it's not working.